The storm had not stopped for 7 cycles. Rivers became oceans, valleys became graveyards, and the sky itself seemed to scream as lightning split it open again and again. The planetary evacuation of Nareth-IV had been a desperate, messy affair. Transports overfilled, flight decks slick with rain and mud, comms blaring with orders that no one could follow fast enough. The Galactic Union had declared the planet lost. Everyone was leaving. Everyone except Ranger Elias Ward. He stood knee-deep in the floodwaters, his weather shield flickering under the acidic rain. Around him, the ruined colony shimmered in ghostly blue as lightning illuminated drowned streets and half-collapsed towers. The emergency beacon on his wrist pulsed steadily. All civilians evacuated. Extraction in T-minus 12 minutes. That's when he heard it. A thin, high-pitched sound between the thunderclaps. Not mechanical, not wind. A scream. Elias turned, eyes narrowing. "Hello?" he shouted through his helmet comm. Only static answered. He waded toward the noise, boots dragging through the thick, murky water. His scanner pinged faintly, a faint life sign, small, terrified, trapped in one of the collapsed habitation domes. When he reached it, his heart sank. The dome was half underwater, its reinforced glass webbed with cracks. Inside, through the flickering emergency lights, a tiny shape moved. A child, and not human. Her skin was pale lavender, eyes large and bioluminescent even in the dimness. Gills fluttered weakly at her neck, struggling against the toxic water that had seeped in. Elias slammed his fist against the dome. "Hang on, kid." He drew his plasma cutter and sliced through the weakened hatch. Steam hissed as molten metal hit the rain. When the door finally gave, the water burst out with enough force to knock him backward. He caught himself, pushed through and grabbed the child before she could sink. She weighed almost nothing, her small body limp, her chest fluttering in shallow breaths. "Got you," Elias muttered, sealing his cloak around her to block the acid rain. His HUD flashed red. Evacuation window closing in 6 minutes. Flood surge incoming. "Command, this is Ranger Ward," he barked into his comm. "I've got a survivor, unknown juvenile, species Talori. I'm en route to extraction." Static. Then, faintly, "Negative, Ranger. All transports full. You are ordered to abandon non-human life forms and return." He shut off the comm. The surge was already visible. A wall of water rising from the distant ravine, black and glimmering under the stormlight. Elias looked down at the child. Her eyes flickered open for a heartbeat, glowing like 2 tiny suns. "Please, don't let me die," she whispered in broken standard. He adjusted his grip, cradling her against his chest. "Not on my watch." He ran, through collapsing streets, through torrents of water that clawed at his legs and tried to pull him under. His breath came in ragged bursts, his armor's servos whining in protest as the surge roared closer. He climbed the remains of a shuttleport tower, each step slick with algae and rain. The child clung to him, trembling. Why help me?" she asked weakly. "Your people, they say we're not worth saving." Elias laughed breathlessly. "Maybe my people say a lot of things, but I don't." The tower groaned as another bolt of lightning split the sky. Below them, the flood surged in, swallowing the lower levels in seconds. The extraction shuttle appeared as a faint light in the distance, fighting the wind. "Ranger Ward, last chance. We can't stay much longer." The pilot's voice cracked through comms. "Then you'd better aim low," Elias growled. "I've got one more passenger." The shuttle hovered, skimming the waves. Elias leapt. For a second, both man and child were suspended in the blinding rain. And then the ramp slammed shut behind them. He collapsed to his knees, coughing. The child was still in his arms, her gills fluttering weakly. The medic droid scanned her. Non-human. Talori juvenile. Survival odds? Minimal. Elias glared. Then make them better. The droid hesitated. Human physiology unsuitable for gill transfusion. Elias tore off his breathing mask. Then she can have mine. Do it. For a long moment, the crew stared, and then the droid obeyed. When the shuttle broke orbit, Nareth-IV vanished beneath a blanket of storm clouds. Later, when the girl awoke in the med bay, Elias sat beside her, pale and exhausted, but alive. She looked at him, confusion in her wide eyes. "You gave me air." He smiled faintly. "Nah, just shared some." Her hand, tiny, trembling lavender, reached out and took his. "Humans," she whispered. "Strange creatures, but kind." He chuckled softly. "That's the idea." Years later, stories spread across the stars. Of the human ranger who stayed behind when everyone else fled. Of the child he saved, who grew up to become the first Talori ambassador to the Galactic Union. And whenever someone asked her why she trusted humans so deeply, she always said the same thing. "Because one of them taught me that kindness doesn't ask what species you are, it just acts."